So Jon Stewart had Mark Cuban on to talk to him about the Silicon Valley bailout. Mark Cuban is more or less in favor. Jon Stewart had some questions. Let's take a listen.
So it's not like there was this big saving or, we bailed out the shareholders and all the tech bros came out okay. They got crushed. There is
I think that's a little misleading because these are not average depositors. So the people that are going to be getting their money back because it's now fully guaranteed by the United States, there are people there that had hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, you've got Roku that had, I don't know, $500 million in there. These are not mom and pop investors and mom and pop depositors that put in a little bit of money, saving it for a rainy day. There are a ton of people. This is like when you read about those PPP loans that people would get that would say, our business, I have $1 billion business and I got a, $300 million PPP bailout. I'm not as concerned about all the shareholders.
Yeah, but it's bigger than that. Yeah, the shareholders are different, but the depositors, right?
There are giant depositors there.
But they were giant. For sure,
yeah,
this wasn't a bunch of mom and pops.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
After that, actually, Mark Cuban's his line drops, and so they're not really allowed to continue the conversation. And by the way, that was former FDIC chair Sheila Bair, who has been critical of the bailout there. But I think he really raises a key point, Saagar, about the difference between the way that people in Silicon Valley are trying to portray this and the way President Biden is trying to portray this is, oh, this is about the little guy, this is about these mom and pop small businesses, when in reality, inherently in what you did, even just focusing on the depositors, these are all people who had more than $250,000 in their bank accounts.
Yeah, I mean, the Roku example is really the perfect one. And also, I mean, I think they keep coming back to this canard where they're like, well, the Silicon Valley bank holders got wiped out, so it's not a bailout. Our friend Joe Weisenthal over at Bloomberg wrote a great explainer where, guys, in the 2008 bailouts, Bear Stearns shareholders, also Citigroup and others lost over 90% of their value. They effectively also, the shareholders, lost their money. Does that not still make it a bailout? So just because shareholders aren't made 100% whole, and even when they do lose value, that does not mean that it is not a bailout. By definition, it is. And so then on that grounds, we have to debate whether it was worth it or not. And I think that's exactly the issue, is that they are trying to present this in a false pretense where it was a super, super special situation. Just trust us, when the normal FDIC process would have worked perfectly fine for most of the customers in this bank.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think there is a reasonable argument to be made about maybe this would have caused contagion, maybe there would have been a bank run, et cetera. But they're asking us to take that on faith. I want to see the data that shows people are starting to pull their funds. I want to see the amounts that were involved here and whether there was a real risk of contagion or whether you just had a lot of people who were worried about, their own investments having to take a haircut. Because the way this has been sold to the American people, and this is what really bothers me, the way this has been sold to the American people is incredibly misleading. That it's not a bailout, no taxpayer funds at risk, this is just about mom and pop businesses. It's just not true. And even if you put Silicon Valley Bank aside, the fact that you've created this new lending facility for all banks to take advantage of and created magical accounting tricks they're allowed to use to basically, avoid recognizing that their assets on their balance sheet have lost billions of dollars in value. That is a bailout. That's a bailout of banks that may have had trouble and bank managers who may have had trouble and the shareholders of those banks. Huge, tremendous value provided to them. So don't gaslight us that it wasn't a bailout. Don't gaslight us that inherently what you have done is backstop all deposits over $250,000. Everybody who has less than $250,000, which, by the way, the mean bank account in America has $5,300 in it. $5,300. Yeah. So this is clearly definitionally, you are just helping people who have more than $250K in the bank, which is a very exclusive and privileged club.
Yes, it's just the mean bank account may be 5,000, but the mean bank account of those people who matter is going to be like 500,000. So those are the ones whose the actual banking system works for. You can't make it up, but there it is.
Indeed. Great exchange from Jon Stewart. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us. And if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.